Hey, how's it going today?
Good, sir. I love the film. It's such a unique and fun idea. I really loved it, and I can't wait for the rest of the world to see it. But my first question for you is the one thing that I loved about the films that really resonated is that the idea that you can relive the moment of when you first hear a song. Can you tell me the process of choosing some of the songs that related to each special moment for them?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for enjoying the film. When you make something, you hope someone enjoys it,
Yeah.
but uh, that's not always the case. But for the songs in the movie, when James and I sat down to write the script, we had decided that each little scene that needed to be in the movie had to be a certain length in order to fit songs into that, because obviously there's time travel moments. You have the first time that they hear the song, and then they have the second time that they hear the song, and you kind of have to have a song that works in both scenes, but also is the correct length and emotionally accurate to what they're experiencing. So it was really a challenge. I think that when we wrote it, we wrote songs into the script in hopes that we would get those songs. Father John Misty's cover of the Flaming Lips was in draft, I think, number two.
Hmm.
And we had Robin Kester, for instance. She's got a song, When We Find Laura 4 years later. And I found her song on Reddit like in 20s, I want to say 2015, 2016 maybe,
Hmm.
and sent her a sent the who posted that a message and was like, hey, do you have the contact info for this artist? Because it was on like our Listen to This. And so they provided her email, because they were a former student, and then we started talking. But yeah, we wanted to put songs in the movie that worked for both scenes, and that was quite a challenge because you have to think about the time and the emotions at the same time. And there were songs that stuck around for a very long time when we were writing, and then songs that we found in the edit that worked really, really well.
Nice.
So props to Patrick as well, who's my editor, of course.
Nice. Now, visual effects is a huge part of your repertoire. How did you
Yeah.
want to show or show to the audience the difference between what was happening in real time and what was happening in the past?
So we did a little bit of that with lens choice,
Okay.
and then we also did that a little bit with a little bit of the color grade.
Okay.
With Luca was an incredible asset to have. He was an amazing DP. Like the fact that neither one of us had ever been to Hawaii,
Hmm.
we looked at that as an opportunity, because when you have someone that is there and surrounded by, I don't know what city you're in, but if you're in like a city for a number of years, you tend to start overlooking things.
Yeah.
And with Luca and actually Dan as well, my production designer, we had never been to Hawaii before, which is like such a unique experience, because if you're all experiencing it for the first time, you see things together that maybe other people wouldn't. So that was a huge asset. Having certain color palettes for different scenes, like when Laura changes Cooper's
Hmm.
trajectory in his life. We see different colors and different tones to reflect like her kind of mood that she's going through as well. So
Interesting.
it was, yeah,
Yeah, I think I noticed it a
it's
lot
all
in
thought
the
out.
yeah, I think I noticed it a lot in the club scene or the concert scene. It was a little bit
Yeah,
different.
right.
Now, time travel is a huge part of this film. What time travel ideas did you toy with for this story, and what kind of tropes did you kind of steer away from?
So we were huge fans of Back to the Future, and
Yeah.
we felt that time travel logic worked really well.
Hmm.
But we were also fans of a movie called About Time,
Yeah.
which it's funny because when you talk about that movie a little bit,
Hmm.
um, I don't like, in my mind, it doesn't stick out as a time travel movie. Like it's a warm like experience about loss
Hmm.
and, love. And then time travel is almost secondary. And what I thought that movie did really well at was fill the gaps where maybe if you poked enough around, like you would see that there were flaws in the time travel logic.
Yeah.
And, that was kind of inspirational to our story as well.
Nice.
So we tried to adapt and give an audience what they would expect time travel to be like, and not like try to take too big of swings on things.
Definitely. I see About Time a lot, and I also see like the Lake House with Keanu Reeves. Um,
Oh yeah.
you've created kind of a new genre of film here. You've created a multiversal romance film. Can you walk me through how the idea came to be and how it transformed into this?
So the original idea was given to me by Josh Boone, who I worked on 3 of his movies with
Hmm.
him. We met on his first film. It was my first film and his first film. And we were talking about music one day, and he was like, there's this idea that I have that I've never been able to really figure out. And then he kind of gave this idea to me and said, hey, if you can fix this, you can go make it. And I didn't have the chops at the time when he gave it to me, because this was like 2012. I was new to the industry and, storytelling. And so over the course of like my editorial career, I was able to see what worked, see what footage came into editorial, how the stories were put together, how the emotions worked. And that kind of shaped how we started writing the story. Because in 2016 is when I met James, and like I had just gone through a relationship, and that was kind of the firepower behind writing the story. And
Hmm.
I found James through a friend who also worked on The Fault in Our Stars, and we kind of hit it off and then started writing. So
Nice. Now, Clara and Lewis have great chemistry together. What made them perfect for these roles? And were there any collaborative things that they brought to the film that weren't necessarily written on the script?
it's interesting because like when you're looking for actors, you're looking for like the most ideal person for the role. And I feel like we found both of them.
Hmm.
And it was a no-brainer almost.
Yeah.
Because when I talked with Clara after seeing I Am Mother for the first time, she had like these sparks in her eyes as I was talking to her about the character. And like it was kind of one of those moments where you're like going back and forth talking about the character, and like she's adding things and I'm saying things, and I would be like, yes, like that. And then it's a building process. And like that felt very collaborative. And like that to me is like what makes a good experience, is that collaboration.
Yeah.
And then with Lewis, similarly, like we spent like maybe 3 hours in our general meeting just chatting about the character, and who we thought he was, and who we are as people. And I think that has a lot to do with acting ability, is where we're coming from.
Yeah.
Because we have to understand emotions that these characters go through. And both of them brought what I expected to the table. And it's interesting because they didn't meet until like 10 days before we started filming,
Hmm.
and the chemistry is just there.
Yeah.
So it just worked. You have to trust your gut, I guess, a little bit on that.
Nice. Now that's going to be a big summer for Lewis for sure.
Oh yeah. Top Gun,
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah. Great role. Now, a lot of the fun things I also enjoyed or really amplified the story is the supporting characters like Lyrica and especially Danny Glover. How was it working with them, and what intrigued him about the role? Because this is not necessarily one of the roles that you'd see him in usually.
Hmm. Well, I would disagree actually with Danny doesn't usually play this type of role. I
Hmm.
think that he's a warm. I think he plays warm characters,
Oh
and I
yeah,
think that's
yeah.
probably what attracted him to the role.
Hmm.
But he's one of those people that if you are afraid to meet because like he's your hero,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be, because he's exactly the person that you think he is.
Okay.
And it's one of the most refreshing things to run into someone like that in the industry. Lyrica knew exactly the type of character that she needed to play for this role. She's just she makes me laugh, and like we had a lot of content that, but not everything made it into the film,
Mhm.
but everything that she gave was just entertaining to watch. And knowing that she needed to play a certain role for the film, to be a contrast to Laura's personality,
Yeah.
she knew what she was doing.
Awesome. Awesome. Now for me, soundtracks, they make the film. Like I always associate certain songs with certain movies. So like Eye of the Tiger, The Rocky, or Danger Zone with Top Gun. Of all the songs that you've included in this film, which one do you want to be, connected with Press Play?
Ooh, good question. I really love the Father John Misty song,
Mhm.
or the cover. And he actually, I don't think that he released that. I think I found that on like a Tiny Desk or AV Club uh, YouTube channel,
Yeah.
back when we were writing the script. So I don't think he originally released it. I'm not sure why, but it's an amazing kind of song for the moments that it covers. But I'd also want to mention that Eldad, our composer, had amazing score.
Hmm.
When you do a movie and you temp score with songs, you think, oh God, how is someone ever going to be able to find a replacement for this? And he just did an amazing job at that. Like there's a moment where Laura has just returned from trying to save Harrison for what she thinks is the last time, and she's just broken. There's
Yeah.
a score piece there that is just absolutely phenomenal. And I don't know if you had a stopwatch out for the movie watching experience, but I'm hoping that you didn't. But there was 10 minutes of silence where there's no music, no score, but everything else has music or score. It's just
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
very,
I didn't notice it, but
yeah,
yeah.
it's a very, like, I think music is a huge character in movies. Like you said, like
Mhm.
it's huge. If you get the right music, people notice. If you
Yeah.
don't, people notice.
Yeah.
So
Definitely. Now, one things that it's one of the things that maybe a lot of the younger audience isn't gonna get to understand is all the little details that you added with the cassette player. I came on the
pause.
back end of it, so I kind of learned what it was. But what are some things that maybe you wanted to display to the audience that you hope maybe they go back or fully embrace physical
Oh,
media again?
like maybe an Easter egg.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, if you pause the movie on the cassette tape, when she's looking at the track listing, you can see kind of like different moments that are drawn on. There's gosh, I'm gonna have to do a refresher on watching. Okay. But yeah, I mean, there's that moment. We included a couple of cassettes that are on the wall in the record store that you can go back and pause and figure out who they are and who they relate to. I think there's even one of like me and James,
Mhm.
my co-writer, on the wall somewhere, that Dan, our production designer, created for us. But yeah, there's like I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Yeah.
If
I,
if if there is, I'll post it somewhere,
yeah,
and then
I
people
don't
can
know.
see
I
what
don't
it
know if it
looks
was
like.
an Easter egg, but after the
Yeah.
first time that she saved him when he was crossing the street, or when she was crossing the street, there was like a hazard light thing in the crosswalk.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
if I
okay.
don't know
So
if it was
that's
there
what you meant.
before. Yeah,
Yeah. So that was put in because someone hit him. So
yeah.
it was a kind of a nod at like, oh, things move on, like people move on,
Hmm.
which she hasn't.
Yeah,
Um.
that's awesome,
So
sir. Like it was such a fun film, and honestly, it like especially nowadays there's a lot of films that it's reboots and sequels. It's refreshing to see like a new story told, and I'm excited for everybody else to see it. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a
thank
good
you.
rest of your day.